long time no talk. I know it's been a while since you've seen my face on this channel, but I wanted to pop in really quick and introduce this video. For those of you who have been subscribed for a while, thank you so much for your support. And for those of you who are new, my name is Veguilla-Lezan, and I am the editor-in-chief and the founder of halfstackmag.com, as well as Halfstack magazine, which is the brand behind this YouTube channel. So this video is my first attempt at vlogging, and it was an adventure, to say the least. I didn't do too good at like talking into the camera like this, so that's why I wanted to do this little introduction. So I made my way to New York City the first week of April for Project Entrepreneur Intensive. And Project Entrepreneur is this special event that is coordinated by Rent the Runway Foundation, as well as UBS. And the whole purpose behind it is to ignite bold ideas by providing women access to the tools, the training, as well as the networks that they need to build scalable and economically impactful businesses. And I was one of 200 founders that was selected to attend a weekend of workshops and keynotes after applying back in October. And it was just such a fulfilling and amazing adventure and experience. 12 companies even had the opportunity to pitch for a $10,000 grant and placement in an accelerator program this summer at the Rent the Runway headquarters in Manhattan. But the funny part of all of this is that I almost didn't make it. If you follow us on Instagram, you might have seen some of my Insta stories as well as some of the pictures that I took during that weekend in New York. And one in particular comes to mind, and it was of my laptop case the afternoon that I made it to the workshops. It's designed by Toasted, and it says, "Do epic shit." It's really been my motto for life, and about 10 days ago, I really put it into practice. And that's where this whole vlog story begins. So I'm super type A, anal type person, and I plan everything. Everything in my life, I have a plan for it, and if that doesn't go well, I have a plan B. And this trip was no different. It was even more so planned just because I was so nervous, and because I was traveling alone, I wanted to make sure everything went well and smoothly. I had my flight and my hotel booked early. I mapped out my routes to get to and from the conference, and I even gave myself an extra day to try and explore New York City before I had to make my way back to Chicago. But the universe works in really mysterious ways, and as it goes, I never made my flight. The same weekend that all that craziness happened with the United Airlines customer and passenger was that same weekend of my flight. I was supposed to head out of O'Hare on Thursday, April 6th in the afternoon to get to New York City on Thursday evening, which would have given me enough time to kind of, you know, take a moment, decompress, and be ready for the morning workshops that started bright and early at like 8 a.m. And I was super nervous already. I didn't know how long it was going to take to get through security that day, and O'Hare is always super busy. And I also just wanted some downtime to kind of work on some projects and finish things up before I was going to be gone for an entire weekend. So I had Dwight drop me off like 3.5 hours early, and surprisingly, which I should have taken as a sign, I made it through TSA in like 15 minutes flat. I picked like the right line, but as soon as I got into the airport, that's when everything kind of like started going downhill. My gate probably changed like 4 times, and that should have probably tipped me off to the weather problems that were ensuing. And 2.5 hours before my flight was supposed to take off, it was canceled. The customer service team at American Airlines was super nice, and they were kind enough to try and put me on standby, but the weather on the East Coast wasn't cooperating, and flights were super delayed. And I was probably on a standby list with about 100 other people, and we were all bumped probably like I want to say 4, maybe 5 times, because all of the flights were overbooked and everything was delayed because of the weather, which is like a familiar story in the news lately, right? And after that 4th bump though, I just kind of made an executive decision. I was probably texting Dwight this whole time, freaking out, and I had done some research, and it turned out that we could probably get to New York City in 12 hours if we drove. So if I left O'Hare by 9 p.m., that would be just enough time to get to New York City, check into my hotel, and, you know, freshen up and make it to my first day of workshops. I might be a little late, but I would still make it to that first day. And that's where the footage begins.
So this is how I know I have an amazing partner. Dwight was down for the adventure. He picked me up 40 minutes later after dropping off our oldest with her best friend because she had school the next morning, and then heading back to O'Hare with the baby in tow to pick me up, and then we booked it. We drove through the night, through a snowstorm in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and thunderstorms in New Jersey. And what should have taken us 12 hours ended up taking us 15, but we made it to New York in time for us to check into the hotel, and we stood at Pod 51, which was amazing, by the way. And then I had enough time to get to the second half of the day for the first day of workshops at Convene. Even though the weekend didn't go according to my original plan, it was an amazing adventure. Definitely a lesson learned to just go with the flow, and the universe will lead you in the right direction. The workshops were by far the most inspiring part of this whole entire trip, and I was so honored to be able to connect with and meet so many amazing women entrepreneurs. My favorites were the branding workshop with Carly Roney of the XO group and the Knot. These were just such inspiring, strong female role models, and Carly shared some wonderful insights, and one in particular stood out with me and inspired me to cut the video in this manner, and that was just putting yourself out there. I'm very much a behind the scenes kind of girl. I don't particularly like getting in front of the camera because I'm so used to being behind it, but I think sharing my journey and putting a face to the words that you read can allow me to connect more with all of you out there, and that includes putting myself out there and in front of the camera. While I was at the convention, Dwight and Sophie had some adventures around New York City, and I would catch up with them in the evenings to do more exploring. Her and Dwight gnashed on some fresh-baked New York bagels and had the chance to enjoy some street performers on the first day. We had some time in the evening to visit Barneys as well, so I could check out all the fashion windows for inspiration, of course. And we closed off our first evening by checking out the rooftop of our hotel.
So this is where we're staying, guys. Don't be jealous. This is so cool, isn't it? Good question, babe.
Where are the extra blankets?
We have to go down, get them, and then go to our room. I'm gonna get some chocolate. Oh, I really want some chocolate. Babes, you want some chocolate?
Yeah!
Babes? I need some chocolate. I gotta find some chocolate though. Mommy's a little afraid of the heights. It's okay. Mommy, there's nothing to be afraid of. We're up 14 flights, so. This is awesome, Soph. How awesome is this?
I like it.
Do you love it? Is it 1,000,000 awesome? What's going on over there? What do you think? They're doing some construction. Nothing like living on the 40th floor. How cool is this, dude? Huh?
We also took some time to try and walk around that weekend before we had to head back home. After I finished up all of my workshops, we went to Times Square. We stopped by the Rockefeller Center, literally passed by Bryant Park and ate some real New York pizza, and I'm definitely a fan, by the way. I love Chicago style pizza, but New York pizza is definitely up there on my list now. All in all, it was a weekend of growth for me, and definitely one to remember. I also connected with some inspiring individuals, and I can't wait to share some of their stories in the blog, the podcast, and upcoming issues of Halfstack. The cohort I was a part of was the Oprah Winfrey cohort, and so I find it fitting to close out this video with one of my favorite quotes from the media mogul that really embodies the direction that my spirit has taken me in as I continue to build on Halfstack. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. And I truly believe that if we put it out there in the universe, our goals, our thoughts, our aspirations, that they'll find their way back to us. Of course, it takes a whole lot of work, but you also have to be open to accepting them into your journey. And that's what I'm hoping this year will bring for me. That's it for today. If you like these kinds of videos, let me know in the comments below, and definitely give us a thumbs up.